Hi and hello, welcome to today's video. We are gonna be tackling my TBR in this video and I thought it was fun to bring you along. I did pick out my March TBR, so we're gonna be reading from there. But I thought it was fun to share my opinions about it in a reading vlog. And I would want to do more reading vlogs, but I'm not sure what kind of reading vlog. So if you have any idea what I can do, let me know in the comments and we might see if I get around to it. But I'm in a dark romance mood and that's how I picked my TBR. So let's start with the first book we're going to be reading, which is The Sacrifice by Chantal Tessier. I don't know how to pronounce names, okay, don't go for me. I started this yesterday evening and so far it's good. We are setting up for a plot that I might like. I think I'm gonna like it. So yeah, if I finish it, I finished the series, and I was really doubting myself if I were gonna finish the series when I read The Ritual, which is the first part in the series. But I've managed to get to book 4. So very proud of myself for doing that. However, this is a fake book, so that's why I wanna start off with this book, because I think this is the thickest book on my TBR currently. I do have book club meeting tonight. I'm gonna pick our March book, and we're reading a fantasy this month, and I'm hoping it's not too big, or it's a book that I already read. So because there were a couple of books that I already read on there, I was like, So I'm hoping we might pick that one, but also hoping we don't, because I want to read more books. But I'm gonna start off with The Sacrifice. Like I said, I started it yesterday. It was reading pretty fun or pretty quick, but that's what I already recognized with the other 3 books I read in the series. They are quick, I want to say that, because mostly there's more spice than plot. And sometimes I'm in the mood for that. So, but I might say if there's too much spice, I will skip it, because I'm not reading 3 chapters long of spice. We're not doing that. I'm not doing that. But that is affecting my ratings a lot on the book. Yeah, that's the first book. Then I wanted to read a bit more of a thinner book. That is The Emperor by Runix. This is part 3, the book 3 in the Dark Forest series. I read The Reaper last week, and so I'm still in this story and I want to continue it. I can't say too much about it because I don't know exactly what's going on here, but I think if I log in, I can finish this in like an evening, because I have the file on my iPad, and on my iPad it's like 250 pages maybe, and I can read 250 pages in an evening. I can. So that's why a little bit of a thinner book. You know, if you compare them, you know, that's insane. So yeah. And then the third book we're gonna be reading is A Stygian Drowning, and this is a book called Dark Academia sort of fantasy. So I think it's like having some magic realism in here. I'm not sure, but I do know that I really want to read this. I got this from Vinted for like 20 euros, and I was like, bet. Look how stunning this book is. Like, I'm so excited to read this, and I do have the second book on my TBR, or not on my March TBR, but on my TBR in general. So if I like this, I might pick up the second book right after and finish up. I think it's a duology, so I might finish it up. But let's just start off with The Sacrifice and finish that series. I will keep you updated what I think of it, and like usual, I think that might be around 50%. But if I'm not capable of filming when I'm at that point, I might update you at a later point, or when I finish the book with my final thoughts. So we are a day later. It's currently Tuesday. And I have an update. I've been reading The Sacrifice on my Kindle. I don't know, I've tried everything. I've tried reading it, well, reading the physical copy. I've tried it on my iPad. I didn't like it. The only way I can sort of read this is through Kindle. So I'm having it on my Kindle, and I just reached chapter 40, which is almost 60% in, and I thought I would update. I will say I will finish the book, because, you know, I'm already 60% in, and I don't know if I want to DNF or not. But I know myself, and I don't tend to DNF books, but we'll see about it. But let me just say, what the hell? What the hell is this? I knew going into this would be dark, but I feel like every book in this series is almost like a copy and paste of the previous one, and I think that's bugging me. There's a lot of spice in here, and I knew that before going into this. After reading The Ritual and the Sinner and Sabotage, I knew spice was going to be in here. But I think the main thing from me enjoying this book is the amount of spice. Almost every chapter has spice in it, and I think that's too much. There is a fine line between plot and spicy books, and this is a spicy book. There is almost no plot, and if there is like a teeny hint of a plot, a second later they're having spice, you know. So that's what I'm not enjoying. But that's why my DNF, because also Tyson, he is not my man. Like all the boys in books are the same. I think they're controlling, they are possessive, and to a point I can understand. There is a way they are raised, and they are grown up to be like this man, and they have to be in power, and women are just nothing, you know. They are there to serve them when they want to have sex. That's why they are there. The women don't have the right to speak in some situations, you know. And that's what bugging me a lot with this book. Yeah, if it was just during this mud scenes, I would have understand that he wants to be dominating her. But it's not just in the mud scenes, it's also with her day-to-day. She can't speak to her family anymore. She can't do this, she can't do that. She has to work for his nightclub, and every 2 hours in a 6-hour shift, she has to go meet him in his office. I don't know, but it is bugging me. And to an extent that I don't even want to read this book anymore. But I want to push through, because it is, all that being said, it is an easy read. It is easy to understand, it is easy to comprehend, and it is easy to understand. But it is, I can't, and I had the same problem with The Ritual, and then The Sinner was okay. Also a lot of spice, but I like The Sinner a lot. I liked the characters, because the characters had something to them. And this is just, I don't know, she feels so, our female main character, she feels blank. Like, she is just there, and she has nothing else. She's just there for the vibe, you know? And that's bugging me, you know? But, like I said, 60% in. Doesn't seem like it, but I am 60% in. I don't know. I don't know anymore. But I will update you when I finish it or not. Okay, it's a couple of hours later. It's now Tuesday evening. And I have finished The Sacrifice. I powered through and I finished it. I think I'm gonna settle on like a 3 stars, because I do think it's okay. It's not too bad, but I think I would have rated it more if the spice was a bit more less and the plot was a bit more plotting. But overall, I think I like this series. And I want to say with that, there is an overarching plot, you know, in all of this. But I think after my rant I did about the spice and the man in these books, I think it's okay. You know, it's nothing too bad, nothing too special, nothing too bad. I will probably forget about these books in a way that I won't remember the plot, but I will remember the spice. But I want to say that after like the 60% mark, there was a bit more stuff happening with people being kidnapped and everything, and there were some big reveals that I did like. So that's what rated the book a bit higher than if it wasn't, because I think otherwise I would have rated it like 2 stars, 2.5, and now it's a 3, which I think is a good rating for a book. I want to say I am a bit flabbergasted how fast I read this book. It's a book of 600 pages, don't get me wrong, it's a thick ass book. Yeah, like 620 pages I want to say. Although I want to say I did read it through Kindle, so it didn't feel that long. And I was living by the time I had left in chapters. This whole book. I was like, oh, I have like 10 minutes left in this chapter. I can do this. With that being said, it is fast paced. It is thing after thing after thing, and it will not get you bored. But the spice. And I was talking with my friend about the book, and she was like, yeah, Alfred said it was mostly spice, and she has other books that are not as spicy. But I don't know if I will pick up her other books. I am happy I finished the main trilogy, which is The Sinner of the Ritual, The Sinner and the Sacrifice, and I think I will leave it with that. My next book will be The Emperor by Runix. I don't have it with me currently. It's somewhere behind me, but it is on my Kindle. It's this book, The Emperor. I think this is gonna be a fun book, a fast-paced book. I think I will read this probably pretty fast. The other 2 books I read by this author, I read and finished it in the same day. So I think this might be the same case. But before we get into that book, I just want to say my Kindle stickers, I haven't put them on here, but I was working on my reading journal this morning and I found this thing of Reese and Monty on Pinterest, and I removed like the background of it and I made a sticker out of it, and I am obsessed. Like, Reese and Monty will now forever be with me, so will the Winning City series be with me. I'm obsessed. But The Emperor is the next book, because I think then I will be done with every dark romance I have on my March TBR, and we can get into the fantasies, because we picked out our book club book yesterday as well, which is a fantasy. So I think if I'm gonna switch between fantasy and dark romances every single time, every single book, I'm gonna be done with everything. So The Emperor will be my next read, and I will update you all along the way. Okay, we're a day later. And let me just say, I almost binged into this whole book last night. If I didn't have to wake up this morning so early, I would have binged it. But I've just reached a halfway point. Today has been busy, but I'm hoping to still finish it tonight, because I don't have a lot planned. I'm going over to my boyfriend's house, and then we're just cooking, having dinner, and I think we're having an early night in. So that's nice. I'm looking out for it. Like I said, I had also an early morning. But this book, I've read The Predator, The Reaper, and they were fine. They were like 3 stars. I don't know what I rated The Predator. I think it was 3 or 4 stars. But this, The Emperor, I don't know what has been put into this book, but I'm enjoying it so much. It's amazing. Like I said, I'm 53% in, chapter 14. I did annotate like the dedication, and I annotated some more on my Kindle, but I haven't put it into my book. But in this book we follow Dante and Amara, and Dante, he is mentioned in The Predator and the Reaper. He's more like a side character, and now this is his own book. And the beginning follows a another duo. It does follow dual POV of them being children, teenagers, to them being now in the present. And I just read where they are in the present, and so much had happened. Like, I was at the 30% mark last night, and I was like, what did I just read? Like, my heart was ripped out someone stand on it. Like someone was jumping on my heart, and I don't know what it was, but something just made me want to continue, and I'm feeling the same now when I pick it up again. And I'm sad that I didn't have like that much time still today, but like I said, I have still tonight. And I do think if I just log in, I can get it finished. So far it's good. I think so far it's like at a 4.5 sort of rating range, but I don't know. I will keep you updated, and I will see you in the next update. Okay, it is time for an update on The Emperor. I finished it and I rated it 4 stars. And I want to say this book so far is currently my favorite book of this series. I do have to read the next 3. But I'm so excited to read those. But Amara and Dante, they just are that couple. They are both super powerful, but you know, like, they are such strong characters. And I was feeling so much for Mara. She's going through stuff that I don't even want to imagine going through at such an early age. Like, stuff happened to her when she was 15 or 16. Like, I wouldn't have survived any of that. Let me clarify that. But she is so strong, and Dante, he was just there for her. I want to say always. He was always there for her. Even if you didn't see it, he was there. He was just always behind the scenes and, you know, being there for Mara. And I think that's what makes these books even better, is they were for each other, for better and worse. It's amazing. I really liked it. I highly recommend. But going into the series, please check those triggers, because I was reading this and at 30% it was like, what the hell? Yeah, I didn't expect that. That was me. I don't know, I was at that point, I was like, I want to continue. I want to continue so bad. And it was 1 o'clock at night. Yeah, no, I'm happy I didn't, but I think if I did, I would have ended up reading the whole book in one sitting. The next book I want to read is A Study in Drowning by Ava Reed. I think this is a dark academia setting. They go to this house to do like a study on it and everything. That's all I know. I think they're both working on like a thesis or like some school paper. Let's go between it, whatever. So that's what I think this book is about. But yeah, I will update you on the book when I have the chance, and I will see you then. Yesterday I ended up binging this book, A Study in Drowning, just because I was really in the mood to read it. But I don't think I've ever told you that I was gonna read it, and I'm sorry. I don't know, yesterday I was so super busy with, I was calling a friend. I just didn't have time to update it, but I finished it yesterday. I started yesterday morning and ended up like super late in the evening, but I read it and I rated it 3 stars. I don't know, I don't think the story gripped me in a way I wish it would. And I don't know, I wish it did. It was a fun book about these 2 academic rivals going against each other. One dealing with, that's not true, you're basing your shit on emotions. And the other one was like, yeah, I know, but I know my feelings, I know my emotions, I know this is true. Then the ending was a bit vague. Maybe I was just zoning out a lot. Maybe that's my problem. I don't know. But I gave it 3 stars. And since we have time left before this video goes up, I wanted to read another book in this video too, and that's A Theory of Dreaming. This is the 2nd book, and I think this is going to be a duology. If it's not going to be a duology, I don't know what else. Okay, so this is the 2nd book. Look at those edges, they're stunning. I'm not sure what this is about. I don't know. I think this is more what happened after the ending of this book, I think. It doesn't say that, it doesn't have a synopsis or anything. Like the back, there is nothing that is telling me what the book is about. So I will be reading it today and maybe tomorrow, and then if I have time to update, I will update, and otherwise you will see me after I finish this book, and then we will chit chat and I can tell you a bit more about what happens in the book, because I think you all deserve that. So, update. Like I said yesterday, I was gonna read A Theory of Dreaming as the last book of this reading vlog, because after reading A Study in Drowning, I wanted to continue. And it's a day later now, it's evening, and I have finished A Theory of Dreaming by Ava Reed. Let me tell you that I was hoping for this book to be better than A Study in Drowning, and I think it should have stayed a standalone, and the sequel should have been here. If you really liked A Study in Drowning, I would see why you wanted a sequel to that book, but as like I said, I finished it, and I rated it 2 stars. Just the same as the problem I had with Study in Drowning, is I couldn't get into it. I didn't feel a connection to the characters, and we followed the same characters as a Study in Drowning. But then when they're back at college after everything that happens in book 1, this is just a continuation of what happens there. And I don't know, I didn't connect to it. And there were a certain part in this book that was like stuff happening. It was like I was going back to the beginning to see if there was a trigger warning. There wasn't. So I want to say there is a part in this book towards the ending, I think at like 80%, maybe 75 to 80%, that it was like, oh, maybe there should have been a trigger for that. But just the ending, I don't feel that the ending was for me. And that I think if you, like I said, I think if you liked characters, the ending was perfect for you. But it wasn't my book, it wasn't my series, it wasn't my duology. So yeah, 2 stars. But I wanted to recap what I read this week. So I also read A Study in Drowning in this video, which you saw me read earlier. I gave this 3 stars. I liked it. It wasn't mind-blowing or anything, but you know, it was okay. I think if you want to read this, read just this book. And if you really like it, pick up the second book, because I made the mistake of not reading the first one first and then getting the second book, because if I was only reading the first book, I probably wouldn't have picked up the second book. But that's up to you. Then I also read The Sacrifice by Chantal Tassier. I rated this 3 stars or 3.5. I liked this. Wasn't the best book ever written, but I think it was fine and I really liked it. It was a good ending to this series, to the main series, because there are spin-offs, but I will end it at The Sacrifice. But I would recommend if you're like in a sort of mood to read spice and not blood. I think it's a good book, but it is long. They are long books. And then last but not least, we also read The Emperor by Runix. This was a 4 stars. And I really liked it. I will be continuing the series because I just got the 4th book in the mail and I'm very happy to read it. But I did see that for the 4th book you have to read book 1, 2 and 3 because it starts where this book ends with a different couple. So really excited to read that. But I think that will be later this month or in April that I will continue that series, because I have different books that I want to read now, because I got also selected to read an arc and I want to read that ASAP. But we'll see about that. But with that being said, like I mentioned at the beginning, if you would like me to do some type of reading vlogs, let me know in the comments. And if you like this video, leave a like, and I will catch you in the next in the next week. Goodbye.